Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and I am back at it again with some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero news and info here on the channel. We have a pretty big update in regards to the rating of this game, some character stuff, as well as some new updated models, or I guess transformation. I mean, it's mainly like one character on here. I discussed it on Twitter the other day, but let's just jump into all the main info. So first and foremost, the official English website is now live. Okay, this was actually put up, I think, like a day or two ago. There has always been a Japanese website that we've been using in, my previous discussion and news videos. I go to that, and the translations weren't the best. Some of the character names were weird. Like, you saw Jesus was Jeice, and Big Bertha was Burter and stuff. Yeah, it was... Google Translate's not very reliable, okay? But we knew who these characters were, we knew the names, but when it came to accuracy, to knowing what it's going to look like in-game when it actually releases, those were not a good way of, indicating, what their names were gonna be. So, this is the official English website here. It still says wishlist now, there's no, release date yet. However... okay, on multiple other websites, as well as if you go back and watch the Power versus Speed trailer that we got, or if you watch the gameplay showcase, at the very beginning before they actually show the trailer and the gameplay, it shows the rating, okay? Now, this isn't a big surprise or anything that the rating is going to be T for teen. That is generally what every other Dragon Ball game is. I've never seen an M rating for a Dragon Ball game before. I've seen E, and I've seen E10 plus or whatever, but generally most of these new Dragon Ball games are rated T for teen, okay? So before, if you go back and you watch the original, I guess first two trailers, it's always been rated pending, okay? Didn't have a rating yet. Now, what does that mean, okay? If they have an official rating now, which again, not a surprise that we know what the rating is going to be, it just shows that they are a lot closer to release, okay? I'm not saying that next month or even in a few months from now the game's going to be dropping or anything, but I think realistically an end of 2024 release is definitely a lot more possible than 2025 this time around. I'm not confirming that or anything. I'm just saying once they find a rating and they settle on a rating for the game, officially, and that's, they're slapping it on promotion and stuff, that's a great sign when it comes to something being closer for release, okay? Now, on the official site, my head is covering it, but if you go all the way down, it also shows T for teen, blood, suggestive themes, and violence, okay? Good step forward. We're in the right direction. Things are moving forward, okay? I would say, okay, I would bet that they pretty much have everything ready to go. They're just polishing it right now, okay? That 5 years of production / development or whatever seems to have been very true. Not saying that they were lying or anything like that, but sometimes delays can happen. I don't really see this game getting delayed or anything serious. I think they're in a good spot, and they're just they just want to tweak everything and make sure everything is fully polished. And we saw from the gameplay is looking promising, and it's fire, and I'm very excited for it. I've watched that gameplay 37 times just this morning. It's crazy how addicted I am. Just I want to play it so badly, okay? But yeah, there are some things with the movement and maybe even the camera that's a little off-putting, but even if that's how it is in the final release, I'm not really going to lose too much sleep. I think it's just more of something we have to get used to, because like I said, the camera is very dynamic and it moves a lot, okay? It's I think what they're trying to go for is they're trying to make it feel like when you're playing this game, it's like an actual dude is flying around with them, recording. Usually the camera is very still and set, okay? But this one, it shakes a lot. They're doing that to give you that impact feel, okay? But I know I've seen a lot of criticism and feedback on it from people in my comments and just people on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments how is the gameplay looking for y'all? Are you sold on it, or do you feel like it needs work? Obviously, more work on the game is necessary, and it's always going to be a good thing. It's not going to hurt the game, okay? I can wait as long as possible for this game, but I still do think 2024 release seems pretty good, okay? So let's go ahead and move on over just to go over everything with the English website. Nothing too major here on the media tab, okay? It's just showing the only 3 trailers that we've gotten so far. They don't have the gameplay video showcase on here, which I think they should just drop that on here if, they're already putting everything in media. But these are all the screenshots that we've already seen from the very first trailer that released and everything. And again, you can just sign up. I would recommend signing up for updates. You'll get stuff via your promotion tab on your email so that you know whenever news or major info goes up, right? So again, for anybody that's still wondering, is this going to be on last gen? No, I think I can say with confidence and conviction that PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Steam/PC will be the only consoles that have this. I do recall going on like the Xbox Microsoft Store, and they even have like a little asterisk saying that it is not compatible with Xbox One. So for those of you that have been wanting it for a last gen title, I'm sorry to say that's not happening. Okay, the way the game looks, you've seen it. This game would blow up your last gen console. Let's just be real. Okay, so let's talk about the official English, no Google Translate character tab. Okay, because this has everything accurate to how it's going to be whenever the game releases. This is pretty much, I would say, 99%. It's going to be this in terms of at least the names. Okay, so everything's pretty much to be expected. They are specifying that with the Gokus from the DBZ saga, they are specifying Z-end, Z-mid, Z-early. Okay, because there is a DB Super version as well, and there will most likely be GT and OG DB and even potentially Daima in the future. Again, I don't know what's going to be DLC or not, but yeah, everything's looking good. Vegeta is still Z Scouter. Okay, they're still calling that version of him Scouter. The Android Saga version of Vegeta is Z Early. They're calling that one Early, which I think that's kind of weird, but I think it's because they're calling the Scouter version Scouter and not that one. That one's Early or whatever. Now, when it comes to like Trunks and Vegeta with their buff grade 2, grade 3 forms, they're just going off of what they had in the previous games, Super Vegeta and Super Trunks. Everything is pretty much on point to how the old games were, okay? Now, when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, they're just Super, okay? It's not DB Super, it's not Dragon Ball Super, it just says Super in parentheses for them, okay? Moving on here, we have Trunks. Now, this is an update with the name. Usually, okay, like, for example, in, like, Raging Blast, this version of Trunks with the armor and the long hair, they usually called that one Trunks Fighting Teen, okay? I think he's like 17 or 18 during that time. I could be wrong, but yeah. They changed it to Trunks Melee, okay? I like that better. It makes more sense. Saying just Trunks Fighting is very general, okay? Trunks Melee makes a lot more sense because there will be a version. That I think that should confirm at this point. There should be a version called Trunks Sword. Okay, that'll be the early, I guess, Z version, or the one where he's got the shorter hair and the jacket. Okay, now I could be wrong about that because they do have one that is called just Future Trunks. Okay, Super Saiyan. Now they're not specifying that this Future Trunks is the one from DB Super. Okay, and what I'm thinking is what's possible is this one is just the base version of Trunks. Okay, that uses the sword, and Trunks' sword is not going to be a thing, and they'll probably have a costume variant of him that gives him, the original, like, darker bluish purple indigo jacket, the one that is probably the most iconic, more popular version of Trunks, okay? The one that you see right at the beginning of the Android saga, right? But, yeah, there's not going to be a DB Super version of Trunks, I guess, to my knowledge, because the one that they're showing right here is the DB Super version of him with, bandana, ascot, the red one or whatever, and they're just calling him Future Trunks, okay? Now, there is a Frieza Super variant. We talked about that before. We know that there will be most likely a Z variant of him. Those are the only two versions I'm aware of. So, yeah, I think the Frieza Super version will have him in final form, and he'll have a golden Frieza Awakening. And then the Z version will probably be first form, second form, third form, fourth form, and max power / full power, the buff version, okay? We have Cell, perfect form. I think that pretty much confirms that we'll get all the other versions of Cell as well. Just whatever's in yellow under the character shows that they will have a transformation / other transformations, okay? Now, Majin Buu, this is just the base version of him, so he's just, normal and everything. There will be a super version of Android 17. Same thing with the Z version of him. There most likely will be. I think Android 18, it's very possible that they could do a super version of her as well. Now, here's where things get really, really important that we need to make note of, okay? They're officially calling this version of Broly Super Broly, okay? That's very important. That pretty much confirms that there will be another variant of Broly. What's the other, variant of Broly? Z Broly. Okay, they'll probably have Z Broly. Now, that doesn't confirm that he'll be in the base or if he'll be DLC or not, but that does confirm that Z Broly will be in the game in some capacity, okay? Because they have Broly Super, Super Saiyan, and they do have the full power version of him, which is at the bottom, which I don't know why they categorize it like that, but whatever. Now, it's actually important to note that this version of Broly, okay, in Super, because there's no Fury or Rage under his name, that leaves me to believe that there won't be a regular base form version of him, which is kind of disappointing. I was really hoping that this game would give us a base form version of Broly, like not skinny Broly necessarily, but just like a, his normal version of him, okay, with potentially maybe even the black shirt. I really like that version of him, but it's not a big deal. We're getting a black-haired version of Broly, a regular yellow-haired, banana-haired Super Saiyan, and then the full power. Reasonable, right? And you should be able to transform. Jiren, most likely getting full power. Bergamo, Super Trunks, Dyspo, Kakunsa, Master Roshi, max power. So that means that there will be a base version for whatever reason if you thought there wouldn't be. Again, I want to reiterate that this version of Master Roshi that's it. There's not going to be like a DB, like an OG DB or a super version of him. It's just this. He'll have most likely costumes that are from like the original series. Nappa, Burter, Toppo, most likely going to have God of Destruction. Jeice, Kale, Super Saiyan Berserk, most likely going to have a, hopefully a base or a controlled Super Saiyan version. I don't see why they would leave those out. Again, Broly and Hit and everything. Okay. So again, it just says wish list now. Nothing, all that crazy or significant now. Last thing we got to get into is Super Saiyan God Goku got an updated screenshot. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that this is a full-on model update. I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of just the lighting and just the polishing up of this looks better. Now, if we compare it to the original version of him, okay, this is what he looked like in the trailer and what he's looking like on the Japanese website. The Japanese website didn't update it, but it's very interesting that they changed this specific shot of him only with Super Saiyan God. No one else got a change, okay? It was just Super Saiyan God. Everybody else, to my knowledge, looks exactly the same. Even Vegeta looks pretty much the same, but I compared it. I mean, he looks better to me. I saw some people saying that this version, the original version, looked better. I think that's just subject to opinions, okay? I just feel like the lighting looks nicer. His hair looks a lot better to me. I do like the dark red. It looks really nice in dark red, but something about this didn't look, I mean, it just doesn't look as good as this. For some reason, this looks it just looks cleaner. Like I'm just going back and forth, and you have to like really go back and forth with it. I think the main thing is it's mainly the lighting on this, okay, which is very important. It shows that they are changing it up and updating it. But if you go back and forth between them, just everything in general, like even the background and stuff, look at how beautiful the environment looks compared to the original. Like, not that it looks bad or anything, but you can tell from what I can gather, okay, and I'm not saying that this is something that you should be like on point trusting or whatever. This is just my, how my mind's working with this. But going back and watching the other trailers, I think those first two trailers that they showed were extremely early builds, or way earlier than what we have now, okay? And I say that because, I mean, you're seeing the polish, okay? That's why I feel like we're definitely a lot closer to release, which, I mean, isn't that surprising, right? But y'all let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. When do you think this game will be dropping? I still think a fall/winter 2024 release is the most possible. That's what I've been going off of since, the start of promotion for this game. When the first trailer dropped, I was like, a late 2024 release seems to be a really, really good time, okay? Just because it's during the holidays, you want to make the most money from it. And a lot of the newer Dragon Ball games, or at least the big Dragon Ball games, will drop usually more closer to the holidays, okay? But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time. I'll keep you updated. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring my notification bell. Have an amazing day. Peace.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.